Born from the real-world needs of Resolve Marine, the Resolve Maritime Academy offers unmatched training for maritime or marine, firefighting, safety, and resource management. Our courses are taught by active professionals, providing hands-on experience that goes beyond industry standards. Whether you need STCW, USCG, or MCA certification, Resolve Academy will prepare you to mitigate emergencies, saving property and lives. Training as real as it gets, with real-world scenarios and live-action simulations. Push your limits, bring out your inner hero, and become an indispensable member of your team. Resolve Maritime Academy, where real-world training meets real-life expertise.
Hello, good evening. I am with my good friend, Colin Kiley, and I'm just thrilled to finally be at the table having this conversation. Colin, welcome to Yachting USA. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Rick, thanks so much for having me. And I tried everything that I could do to avoid this. Your tenacity, just not letting go.
Something about that is
plane flights cancel and delayed and delayed. And that monsoon came through and that
the shipyard was floating. And what other excuses do we call?
I'm sure it came up with plenty, but you wouldn't give up. So
no,
I'm here.
It's good to have you here. And I'm going to start off by saying, when I thought about our conversation, I thought Colin Kiley, probably one of the most, if not the most influential professional in yachting that very few people really know. You've done a remarkable job of building a reputation, same absence. Congratulations.
Well, I don't know. I'm very sorry that I'm here right now. I like to be behind the scenes. I'm happy to be behind the scenes. I don't know how influential I am or not. I've been really lucky to be in this industry that we call yachting that I absolutely loved for a long time. So there's too many people off. So I'm able to stay in it. It's been great for me.
That's a lot of wonderful people. We share that in common. The one difference is I think all of my MBAs have expired, so I'm a little more at liberty than you likely are, but we'll still dance around that and have some fun. So one of the things I talk to people when I talk about you, and in general when I talk about so many relationships in this industry, these are enduring friendships. These are things that have been nurtured over decades. And we have had too much fun. I see you standing on the balcony in Monaco. Wow. Who was it there?
I remember. I recall.
Well, so I'm going to try to stay away from too many inside stories without giving the listeners the benefit of understanding what we're talking about. But you and I have common maritime heritage. We grow in different parts of the world. I grew up in St. Petersburg, Seminole area on the Intercoastal Waterway. And at 12 years old, got my first sailing boat. And you grew up in
Situate, Massachusetts. Yeah, the South Shore, about 25 miles south of Boston.
Yeah.
Just outside of Plymouth, just north of Plymouth.
Just at your school harbor area.
Beautiful little harbor, inner harbor, outer harbor, super safe place, great place to sail. And yeah, my dad was at the boat club, right? We were sailing. I started sailing at 6 with him. I think I got my first boat at 10 on my birthday. Now I rebuilt that again at 12. And time by then I was lucky enough to work with some really great people. We won our first national championships when I was 13 years old.
Wow.
And I sailed with an incredible group. My older brother Jay, who's 7 years older than me, I sailed with him from then until the time I was 52. And we sailed all over the world together. So that's really what kind of, it's almost like I was born into this,
Yeah. It's definitely in the blood. Yeah, sure. And it's interesting that sailing seems to be a common thread. And I know so many people in this industry that started sailing. Most of them segued into motor yachts when it came time to make money. But the sailing common thread seems to be more common than a lot of people will probably give credit to. You and I also have another interesting little common thread, and that is we both segued into commercial diving.
Yeah, I remember the T-shirt. Don't tell my mother I'm a commercial diver. She still makes that play. More clear house. Yeah. So I didn't know we had to talk about commercial diving, but yeah, I did. I was lucky enough. I don't know, after some stand, I decided to go out to Governors Institute of Technology. And I went out there. I was lucky enough to work in the Gulf of Mexico for years. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I mean,
I loved the camaraderie. I loved being offshore.
were you in the Seattle?
Yeah.
Sales school. Yeah, yeah. I worked with a bunch of DITs that went to school up there.
And you went to Chico, right? We learned while you were at Chico.
I thought we were excited about that. FIT, Florida Institute of Technology. That was a great college experience. Oh my God, to spend 2 years, right, in that space, and everything that goes along with that when you're 19 years old, and more spectacular.
Yeah.
Spectacular. But yeah, when it's funny when I've talked to people about my maritime heritage, the 4 years I spent in the Gulf of Mexico really were an education that was indispensable. I mean, what I learned in working in the ocean, around the ocean, the people I was working on around with, doing the things we're doing, erecting offshore rigs and running pipelines, it was just amazing. And you then segue into yachting and you start seeing that it's a different world to a certain extent, but still the same problems and same challenges, just 400 different perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's like I was born and raised into the yachting thing, right? It's all I knew. And that's what I was doing. And I always enjoyed it. And I was struggling to find money somewhere along the way. And it wasn't a big jam school. So DIT was great for me, right? Sure. It was a great place to go. Rigging. It was, and I loved it, right? And I did really well there. So I just found something I loved to do.
That warm and I sound water.
Yeah, it was all right with me. And I remember the first time jumping in Lake Union, right? And doing our trip to 90 feet, getting arced, and it was, but I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved skies. I loved the risk. I loved having your life in someone else's hands, and vice versa, right? Because I'm this guy on top for a long time. And yeah, I really enjoyed diving. And it didn't matter to me to be on the water, under the water, in the water. It didn't matter. I just wanted to be around the water. I wanted to be outdoors. I wanted to be in the ocean. And today, it doesn't matter whether it's on the ocean, under the ocean, or if it's in Whitewater up in the mountains, which is kind of my thing today.
Yeah.
That's my thing. And the diving was a great way to do it. And it was in the middle for me. Yeah, I just love it. Right?
Yeah.
I think everybody should understand what it takes to put the gas in your car.
Yeah, that's real. Right. It doesn't come magically to the
I was like this, and other guys, right? And they were just some of the hardest working guys. I worked with a bunch of guys that were, recon Marine guys that came out. I worked with a bunch of Navy SEALs after they get out. I worked with, and then I worked with guys from Kentucky.
Never seen ocean before.
And they had a lot of pictures as well. And yeah, it was a great time.
Not sure if you know this or not, but a mutual friend, business partner, mine, Hurt Magny, Captain Hurt, had the same thing. Same time. 1980 was in San Diego.
I'm much younger than both of you guys.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was aware that Hurt was.
Yeah, and I find that really fascinating. Here's three yachting guys who started their career in the Gulf. And I bet you if we polled the listeners and figured out, who's in this industry, we're not the only three that have come from that commercial industry. We had
a couple of guys that worked for us over at Bradford's, right? Count Bob Franks and Kevin Bill. But Kevin Bill Carter. And both those guys were running crew boats and in the Gulf, a lot there, down in Mexico and stuff. So there's a lot, right? There's a lot of guys that spend time commercially in the Gulf. And there's some great boat operators down there.
Well, it's a great way to learn. I know that's how Howard basically got his ticket and got into charter yachts. When he OSVs and crew boats in the Gulf of Mexico. And, that became real. But you didn't stay there. You segued back into the world and got into sailing yacht. You're sailing yacht rigging, right? I recall.
Yeah, so I was actually in that originally, right? And had been doing that. I raised my whole life. From the time I was really young, and I was a lot thinner back then than I was a bowman. And I ended up being the guy that was going up the rig all the time. And so I got into rigging, and I really enjoyed it. I guess at one point I came back and I was doing some work with Chuck Inger over at Flutter and hydraulics, and I was chatting with Peter Messenger and Wally Iverson at Northern Marine down in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah,
on the rigger for a bit. Yeah, I really loved it. And I did a ton of rigging when I was offshore. Right, so we were at a 1,200-ton derrick barge for Calab International.
Wow.
And so rigging was a big part of my life. And then, I had the opportunity to get out of there. I was offshore a lot. Didn't go so well with relationship, personal relationships. Yeah, right. When you're not present a couple hundred days a year being offshore. So then trying my way back on land, and I get hurt, right? So I couldn't dive anymore. So after I got hurt, I had residual neurological symptoms. And that's what happened. Yeah. Okay. Now we got to get clear. Yeah. So after that, there was no more going under pressure. I was a DMT. I was hyperbaric chamber operator. I ended up running the barge for a long time. So it's a captain aboard the barge, derrick barge. Still worked with the dive team, and it was great fun. But it was just time to let that go. I mean, it's a young man's job too. You know, so absolutely. But I had the opportunity to come back onshore and did that. And at some point, got whatever. I think it was with probably Florida Ring at the time when I went back onshore, and really wanted to go after the big ones. Yeah, we'd done a big project and wanted to do that. And I'm sure I worked back and forth with Chuck. It's a great guy and he's done really well and with a great company, and just ended up going out on my own. You know, there's another guy, Frank Atkinson, I worked with there. It was a great rigger, super smart guy, and he pushed you to go start something else. And just seemed like the thing to do at the time. We were trying to break out on the show as big as like a 48 year period. If I remember, 42, 48, I think it was 48. And Dr. Rodovitz and James Kerr was there at the time. And this captain went in and he said, I don't know what to do. You know, do I go with float rigging or do I go with, these guys? And he said, at least the way I remember the story, was, look, if you want a company that's been in business for 30 years, that has the financial backing, that's been there, and has all the insurances and everything you need, go to Florida Ring Hydraulics. They're the guy. If you want it done right, go to Frank Call. And that was relayed to me by the captain at the time. He came out and he told me this. I'm going to pay you docs because I just talked to James, and that's what he said. And I asked for a deposit. Yeah, it was a 6-figure deposit. He said to me, one of those big old, checkbooks, the big ones. So I registered it out down there, and he wrote out the thing, and he pulled the check off, and he handed it to me, and I gave it to Frank, and I said, go buy us some tools. And there you have it. I think I had spent $500 on an old Suburban at the time, and put a sticker on the side. And we really had a blast.
Now, if I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am, you guys were up at Whitewater at the same time the motor yacht Taipan was up there.
Yeah, we worked on a project together.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I had sold a very large, at the time, the largest crane that nautical structures had ever built. And we built that very large deck hatch. I mean, the thing was monstrous, so big. Definitely could talk about cutting our teeth, two big firsts. But we had a great time with it. I do recall meeting you there and kind of getting to know you a little bit. At the time, we stood in the shipyard together. And
we were doing a bunch of hydraulic stuff with that.
That's right.
There were some issues with that.
We had the big cylinders on the hatch that was a problem. We also had some issues with a couple of Navtec cylinders that things were able to help us with.
Could be. Like I remember on that one, when the crane went to lift the boat hip over so much that it wouldn't rotate. And it was so nice to talk about that. Now, it was an awesome job. Algie Induso, he was a carpenter up there at the time, and he redid the interior. It was just absolutely amazing, spectacular. It was just such an incredibly talented craftsman. Yeah, I remember they had the huge aquarium in there, fighting the big seahorse.
Yep. And that was probably the first time that I had real exposure to working on what I considered a top very large yacht. And I think at the day that was considered a very large yacht. I don't remember what she was, but I think she was 160 or 170.
I've seen 170 yet.
Yeah. So that was a cool way to meet you at that.
That was years back.
That would have been 92, 93, so on right there.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Think about it. That's true.
I didn't know I was that old.
You were just like me. Well preserved. Well preserved. So you got a rigging business. You transitioned. You went from there to more rigging, right?
Yeah. So yacht rigging was the thing. So we were just so lucky. It was the right time, right place. We were doing something we love to do. Got a name to Tony Hawker. Keep work with us. Key guy. It was just phenomenal. He's got a rigging company now. Seahawk Rigging up at West Palm.
Yeah,
yeah, it's just one of the us, right? So we got together and we had a blast. We traveled all over the world together, sailed all over the world together, did ring all over the world. We ended up doing a ton of free Navy work. We did a bunch of work with Marbella. We did a bunch of work with Houseman guys. Yeah. Some British boats and a lot of the stuff down in New Zealand as well. We worked with the Shells and Auckland and Southern Spars. And I was traveling almost every other work to Europe or Australasia somewhere, chasing around a boat, doing an inspection and or putting together the really kind of maintenance program for Yacht. Right? Sure. And at the time, that was Ocean Yacht Systems, rigging OIS. Right. Remember that? We were OIS service worldwide. Eventually sold that to BSI in Denmark, boat steel industry. And those guys are what we're doing, earning out. And just an incredible group of people. And, so it's fantastic in the world of broad rigging. And, then things started going to carbon fiber, right? So, the guys at Future Fibers, and there was, another group that was doing their own carbon fiber, and there was PBO, all this new technology was coming into play, and we were coming up into probably 08. Yeah. And I was really lucky at the time. We'd been successful, and my wife Laura had been successful in her business. We were looking at real estate. We were doing a bunch of real estate at the time. We were trying to buy some property down in Costa Rica. And I had a buddy of mine who said, I was talking about buying 400 acres in Costa Rica. Yeah. And I came back, and he says to me, well, I bought us 400 acres up in North Carolina. We should go see it. And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, I guess we should. So we went out to see it. While we were out there, bought another 400 acres. So we brought a group of guys together. I think there were 20 investors at the end of the day to develop this property up in North Carolina. And if you remember that at 08, 09.
Yeah. Bubbles and everything that was happening there, it was a shit show.
So I got really lucky. I did that just through circumstance, through perfect timing and a bunch of things. The guys at BSI were really looking to expand their business and grow their business. And they realized the big way to grow that was through the service side as opposed to trying to get one to build, Right. And so I sold in, 07, January 07, and stayed on for 4 years.
Yeah, that's really amazing when you think about what that timing looks like. And then you mentioned the carbon fiber piece. I remember conversations I had with a gentleman that was well-known in the architect of Delta Marine, Jay, and I think he was cutting edge with some of the carbon fiber stuff Delta was doing, and he and I were watching this video. He wanted to show me why perhaps I did not want to build my creeds out of carbon fiber. So Jay Miner brings up this video, and he's showing, I think they're America's boats that were basically just flying. You could just see the energy as they're running through the water. And all of a sudden, one of the boats that's rigged just goes boom, just like that, just like. Now you see it, night. And he's like, that is why you probably don't want to build things out of carbon fiber.
Yeah, but that was back then, right?
Yeah.
So much has changed. I remember the boat broke in half.
Yeah.
Right. And we worked with some guys that had done a lot of work on that boat. But nowadays, now they're really flying. So it wasn't flying then; they were just going fast.
They go fast, right?
But now they're flying.
Right.
So what they've done, and now they're building planes up.
Yeah.
Right. So
and they're building deep diving submarines on carbon fiber too.
That I didn't know. But it's incredible. That was actually the way the technology has come along, and what these guys are doing is really awesome. So,
Yeah.
the J Miner was great.
Yeah. He basically he knew his craft very well. Yeah, it was a wonderful mention. Absolutely good, wonderful mention. So you eventually sold your business and segued into other elements of the yachting industry.
Yeah, I did. I was really lucky. So we did Tony and I did a ton of work at Rapovich. And at the time, I worked with Jerry Broadstein when he was there. He said some of the old guys, Carter and Stan Kaminsky and all that. And we were there for a long time. And so we did a ton of work there. We brought a bunch of big sailboats in there. Harris at one point, I can't remember what it was, Tony, I'd be able to remember off the top of his head, but we had 7 rigs of over 100-foot yachts that were down on the ground at one time that we were working on doing. So we brought a lot of work in there. We had a great relationship with those guys. And at that point, Junior had bought kind of big Wayne Hudson Junior. Yeah, and it was wonderful. And yeah, so we sold the company. stayed on for 4 years, going through the earn-out period, and was just getting through some other things. And then I was at the end of the earn-out, and I thought, I don't know what I should do now, right? Because they had an opportunity to stay along. I wanted to do something different, right? I was getting bored, but I never really had a resume. And sure didn't know what to do. And Devil West was at Rockwood at the time. And I remember going, I wrote this resume, and I said, I don't know if this is good. I don't know if anybody would do anything, but I sent it to Doug and asked him, see if he could just review it for me and help me out with just feedback, right? Why not? And he eventually called me up and he said, well, may I come work with us? And that's how that came about. And it was, it's like, I don't know what we're going to have to do, but we've got to have to do something. So they gave me an opportunity to be the director of supply chain management. But we came over and started getting involved with all the contractors and what we got to the subcontractors. So I'd been a subcontractor there, so it's on her for many years. And it seemed like kind of an opportunity to do. So I had the opportunity to work with me, Junior, Carlos, and Doug, and the whole team up there. Many of those guys are still there. Yeah. It's quite a team. Yeah. So that was an interesting time. I think it was there for probably 4 years. Yeah.
And that's when you and I kind of came back into this shit too, because I was doing more and more business over in my position. I relocated to South Florida, so it's local. And, my business was scaling up and there was opportunities. Yeah, so that was when I was paying attention again to the meteoric rise of Colin Kiley, wonderful Yacht. But what you guys did in that shipyard, it's been emulated since. I mean, setting it up to be a destination place that people want to bring in yachts, the place fuel when it comes, so that there's something to do when they get there. And I think there's a lot to be said with the vision that Junior and the rest of your team had in what you did in that shipyard.
Yeah, I think everything's really about team. I think Senior, God rest his soul, he was around then. He had a business of the pool and the other things, and Carlos and Junior, had their ideas. They brought in Doug. Doug's one of the most amazing operations guys that I know. I've been lucky to work with him for years, and they did put together a great group of people. That group of people was, able to do that. What they achieved was pretty awesome.
Yes, I agree. And then I knew I had a real serious home run when I seduced you to come to work in my company for a while.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I did. That was, and I was sober at the time.
You were? Yes. They've remained so since.
That was an interesting time. That was a really cool opportunity, right? So I've been doing hydraulics for years. Yes. Like that, I was really looking forward to the opportunity and, with what our ultimate goal was there. And, it's unfortunate that ultimate goal never came to fruition, but I remember how many years I spent over there. 3.5 years. It was trying pretty well for a while. Yeah, we had a lot of fun, man. It was great to get Ron Bodman in place.
Yeah,
get that first thing.
That was the money shot. Bringing Ron in and really establishing the mindset to bring quality service in-house to the community.
It's interesting because that's truly working, right? From a manufacturing point of view, it's great. I've learned a lot from you and Bob, Kenny, the gang over there.
Yeah.
And which was really cool. We were able to we did some really cool stuff in Europe, right? We got in with FB92 and did some other stuff in Europe. Had some other people going on up with Fentanyl and Iceland. Yeah. And then a bunch of work in Turkey as well. It was awesome. We tried working with those guys in Turkey.
Absolutely the best.
Yeah.
We filled a niche that was already filled in Northern Europe. Made us difficult to be successful in some of our big projects there, but there was a wonderful opportunity in Turkey to basically step into the same types of boats being built in Europe, in some cases owned by the same people, but to do our way, bring the American culture, and that was a wonderful run of business for sure.
Awesome team over there, yeah.
And through all of this, we haven't touched on some of your personal challenges, but I'm aware of the fact that while the ocean's been kind to you, you were almost killed on the ocean. And that was a life-changing, game-changing time in your life.
That was a ways back. My son now is just turned 16. I think he was maybe 20 months old at the time. So it was May 2nd, 2010. And I'm Jupiter out on the Intercoastal on my little boat. and get ready to push up on the bank and got hit by a drunk boater, and which changed my life for sure. Absolutely. So I was blessed. That night we were able to kind of walk away. Laura got banged up pretty bad, and I was waiting with Connor, and then we were able to dewater the boat, blah, blah, blah. I didn't realize I was hurt for hours because the adrenaline rush that was going on in New York. And, you know, it took a long time to recover. There was a lot going on, and I had some of those issues. I was really, and again, I've just been so lucky. Yeah, we found a team of doctors, a guy, Dr. Mark Oakey up in Jupiter, and he found a guy up in Jacksonville, and he found some guys down in Miami, and he found guys over on the Gulf Coast, and he just brought this team of people together. It was kind of like putting Humpty Dumpty back together for a while, you know. And it took a couple of years before we started through the surgery process, and we got through a few different surgeries, and I'm blessed. I really have very little kind of residual stuff, but it was a long process. It probably took just more than a full 5 years to really get kind of back together. So
Helps build an appreciation for what you have, doesn't it?
Yeah. I've been through a lot of things in my life that helped me to be grateful.
Yes.
And helped me. I had some other challenges when I was younger as a kid. And when I get up in the morning and I've got my legs and I've got my eyesight and I dance and jig, right? I think I'm really blessed. So I try and always remember that.
That might be an Irish jig, right?
And it just might be there, you know. I don't know. But I feel so lucky. And at that point they told me that I wasn't never going to walk.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
And when they said, either you're not going to walk or you're going to walk with a really bad limp, you'll walk on a walker. And I didn't want to accept that. And there's just this guy, this incredible guy, God rest his soul, Craig Benedict, and he was a massage therapist and trainer for the U.S. Olympic track and field team for I think it was 5 Olympic Games, over 20 years, just something like that. And he had come to the town of Tequesta, right, the village of Tequesta. Yes, and he just gotten back from, I think he was up in Lake Como. There was one very famous one racer who had been in an accident. I wanted to be able to walk with a limp. And Craig worked with this guy. He lived up there with him for years to try and get it back to be able to walk without a limp and get through that. And Craig happened to have been in the town where I was living at that time, right down the street. And he said, there's a great place that Mark brought me together. The place was fine. And there were some incredible, there were doctors of physical therapy there that were just amazing to help me out. And Craig was doing massage. And he started working on me there. And it was just the people that came into my life were amazing.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes, as really blessed. So.
Yeah, I'm a big believer that there's no accidents in life. Things happen, the way they're supposed to happen, when they're supposed to happen.
This guy ran into us on purpose. Is what he said.
Really?
Accidents are not.
But for the people that what came into your life afterwards, I think. I think accidents and mishaps and circumstances are, everybody goes through their own challenges. And one doesn't diminish the other. And I think part of the challenge in life is how you, no pun intended, stand up to those challenges and find a path through it, work with it, whatever that looks like. And I don't know, in my own experience, I think what I'm hearing you tell me the same thing is, people come into your life, communities come into your life when you're in these opportunistic times to, receive help. And, it's funny, I talk in this podcast a lot about doing well for others. I like the idea of how, when you're open to it, that help comes your way. And then when there's opportunities, so many people I talk to push it back out again. They try to do well for others, trying to figure out how to give back a little bit. And I talk about it in the context of business and just day-to-day life and relationships. And, I've known that part of you fundamentally, from early on. And I think that's just kind of cool. I think you got back what you did a little bit. And I think that's why you're blessed so well.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'd say it's all my wife. Right?
Amazing.
It truly so. But my faith is probably the most important thing in my life, followed immediately by family. And in the times where I've been through hard times and my faith was shaken, it's, it's my family that carried it, right? And Laura's been a rock for me for 25 years now. And she's always been given, right? She's devoted her life to give. She had her transitional living house for women, recovery of alcohol, drug addiction, food eating disorders, sex disorders. And, she worked with that for a long time. It was really that was an incredible experience as well. So that was going on all at the same time when I had my business. She's just always been that way. And after the accident, I talked about the team of doctors and everything, but I couldn't have done anything without her. Yeah. And there was time after the surgery I was on fentanyl. And that was it was diabolical surgery. It was experimental stuff that screwed me back together. But anyway, I was on this stuff and you couldn't, my dog surgery was down up in Jacksonville. I was down twice at the time. And when script ran out, they couldn't just refill it. That was too different at the time. So I don't remember the micrograms, whatever that I was on, but I was like cold turkey from the highest dose that I was on right after surgery to nothing because we screwed up. I didn't have the stuff, which it did not go well. Not at the time, and I couldn't because I couldn't move at all. Right, I was non-weight bearing, and God, it was just horrible, And Laura was just always there, like, I'm sure you could be okay, right? And I came up with words that, you haven't heard before. That's right, I imagine, but I believe it was hard. But she was just always there. She was there through the whole thing and how everything happened. And couldn't have done any of it without her. That's during that period, we expanded our family. So it was just a very crazy time.
That's another thing that topic with your oldest son and my youngest son being closest age. I've got 3 boys. You've got 2 boys and 2 girls.
2 boys, 2 girls.
That's amazing.
2 boys, 2 girls. Really blessed. That's been an amazing part of our life.
My life would be so much different if I didn't have.
They'd be happy, right?
I'd
have a ton of money.
I'd have an Italian sports car. Will you let me know where he's dressing over here? And my 15-year-old is my media guy. He's handling the cameras, the audio, which I really loved him for that. We were talking earlier at dinner about his adventures, my adventures. I've been supporting the Pirates Interest Foundation.
Yeah.
Big connections to cystic fibrosis. Big mother had it passed from cystic fibrosis. And we do something every year. This paddle from Bimini to Palm Beach. We raised some money this year. We raised almost $750,000 for our foundation, which is really cool. And made me think about is we're moving it 4 knots across the Gulf Stream. 4 miles. I remember you telling me a story how you had an ambition to cross the Atlantic by rowboat. Is that dream still out there, or where's that?
That went from dream to plan to intervention. She let us a big part where they said it was never going to recover.
Right.
It was never going to be able to walk again. And the team of dogs would hit every time and say, let's climb Killy. Right. So I Kilimanjaro afterwards. And everybody kind of committed to that. And it just didn't seem like enough afterwards.
Kilimanjaro's not enough.
No. I think it was really about not the physical test, but the mental test.
Yeah.
And I was watching that thing on the Couch to Whiskey Challenge, which was run across the Atlantic Ocean. And that seemed like the thing to do, right? Like that was full on. And I wanted, and part of the reason for that was in the recovery at some point at whatever it was, 3 o'clock in the morning. I never slept for years after that because I never slept for more than 2 hours. So I was watching the TV at night, see all the infomercials or whatever. And buy these things while I was in a drug-induced stupor. But one of them was my rowing machine.
Right.
And it was the rowing machine that really was key to helping me heal, because there was no impact, and it was symmetrical, and it was even, and it was smooth, and it was like a meditation to me, and I really got into the earth. And I loved it. And I did a lot. And that's where I got to go, was going all for it, had a team together that was ready to do it, and just epic guy, and I've been in Steve Gibbs, so I think was a 4-time adventure race world champion. And he was like, put me in. And it never came to fruition more. My life is about the family. But, I had young kids at the time, and nobody was really thinking that it was a great idea for me to go out Right then. I would still love to do it. I know there was a team out of Antigua that had some guys that are a little bit older than I am that have done it successfully. There's more people doing it today. It's really catching on. We'll see what happens. See what happens. But right now, I'm getting into the Whitewater kayaking up in North Carolina. That's a kind of a new, exciting passion for me, which is close enough to kill me. So.
Yeah, you can do something on the rivers just as easily, no question about it. Tristan would say we met a guy while we were in Bimini that amazing to even get your head around this. He paddled from Africa, Algiers, to Antigua on a paddleboard, solo, without support. Yeah, that's 4,050 miles, 93 days.
So I was talking to Jay Wade the other day. I was sitting in an airport where I spent half my time. And Jay Wade, the German seakeeper, said, I know Jay. And he was telling me about this guy.
Yeah, he was with us from
his I asked Jay afterwards if he wanted to paddle across. And he said, pull me in.
Yeah, man.
I want to go.
That sounds like
yeah, absolutely. He's awesome. And so he was telling me, and that's just full of right on a paddleboard. That guy's I can't wait to meet him. Just like, you got it.
Oh, this guy's great. He's right at South African. So it's Kiwi. And it's mind-numbing to imagine, and I think I actually got a book that was published, that Paddleman's Challenge, what it's this year. And I'm halfway through it. It's just like, you're in 12-meter, 15-meter seas. You got a 6-meter great white shark swimming underneath your board, looking up at you like, you ready to come in? Some of the things that
it's the male capacity. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's to keep, and that I think is the coolest thing. I guess you'll eventually correct over there, but it's incredible, right? And I get these guys, the ultra marathoners, and these rowers and these paddleboarders. And I was out at where was I? Net Hill, and there were paddleboarders going down Net Hill River, right? And there's also they're paddleboarding. They've got paddleboard with rocker bow and stern now, right? So they can surf waves in there. And it was an inflatable, and there's a little Net Hill is 1 and 2 with a little class 3 at the bottom at Net Hill Falls. And they're going over this class 3 rapid at Net Hill Falls, just going over and go back up and go. It's awesome. Wow. Right? So these paddleboarders have come a long way too. So
doubt about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a great way to, it's physical, it's mental, it's focus. It's a lot of things that come together to create a experience.
Yeah. I went to the boat school in Maine. And there's a guy up there on the instructor's side. He said, why stand up when you can sit down? And frankly, why sit down when you can lay down? I'm just a tall guy, right? He's telling us how well you should lay something. Yeah, when it comes to that, I'll sit in the kayak.
Sit in the kayak. There you go. So let's talk about the future. I mean, here we are, and we both enjoy, I think, a pretty dynamic, interesting career. Think about it sometimes. If I had to do over again when they do different. Yeah, not maybe, but you have, since you weren't with my business and a major impact in the nautical world, if I've got your career path correct, you went back to work with Doug West. Also, you're absolutely right. This operational guy who's so much with what he's been able to accomplish. Kind of transforming Lauderdale Marine Center, working with Carlo. And then he moved on and are working with the Bradford organization right now, Michael and John Kelly and that group. And it seems like a very interesting, it's almost like you guys kept your practice in there at LMC and now you're perfecting the art of what you're doing at Bradford. Talk to us about what your vision is, where you see things going for Colin in the future. What are we going to do?
Yeah, interesting. So I just got to say this because the LMC, it was just absolutely awesome getting together to work with Doug again for, I guess it was another 4 years over there. It was really just an amazing experience, incredible group of people. And I just learned so much working with Carlisle guys, for Doug, and then the team we built over there was really family.
Yeah.
It was absolutely obvious. And I think that was where some of the magic really happened, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what,
if I recall, you kicked me out of my office there too, didn't you?
It sounds like
something you do.
Maybe. Yeah. I think there's probably a lot of people that have that experience. I completely forgotten about that. I do have a guy that I work with in marketing right now.
Colin, this has been so fun. As we kind of work towards a wrap up, I just, we were talking about your experience with LMC Carlisle Group. certainly I mentioned, I think, besides the fact that you evicted me from my office in that shipyard, you really built something kind of special that, is, I think, part of your legacy, honestly, because it's been emulated and copied. And I think gave you the leg up to sit in the position you sit in right now and work with the Wheeler Nation team at Bradford.
Yeah, I think, again, I just go back to being lucky working with Doug and the Carlisle guys did over there was amazing. I'm thrilled with that part of it, right? And, after that sold, I thought I was probably done for a while, right? I needed to be done for a while. And we bought some property up in North Carolina. Laura and I love it up there, and it's quiet and it's beautiful, and we can kind of have that family compound place, and we love it. And so I started talking with John, and I had met John earlier after they bought Bradford, right? Shortly after they bought Bradford, they purchased Billfish, which came with IC's technology and Whitewater Marine and get our canvas. And it was really, wow, who are these guys,
Right.
And so we'd worked with them. We'd invited people over from all the yards, right? And so I think James was probably the director. So we had him over there. We had guys down from Radovich. We were trying to work on this contract. So we were always working together. And so afterwards, I started a conversation with John. I don't remember how it happened. I'm sure I reached out to him at one point. I was doing some consulting. And I was just blown away by him. Right? And that's the real deal. I was just an honest family guy who wanted to change something, wanted to make this industry better. Right? And Doug spent a long time. Doug and I worked together to try and make this industry better. We always wanted to leave it better. And John came in with that vision, John and Mike. Right? So they had this, they had their yachts. They were coming down. They'd come down from Pittsburgh. They'd go through all the locks to get here. And they'd go through their kind of refit process, and the story they tell now that they tell to you is that they didn't have a great experience.
Yeah.
And then they had an opportunity to come work together, right? Which I just think is the coolest thing. It's not father and son work together. And like you guys.
Yeah, father and son working together.
Yeah, pretty cool. And they said, what should we do? Right? And I think they looked at a lot of different businesses. The way the story goes, they said, well, let's go down there and get the yachting business and let's fix this. Right? And they had this amazing vision to get on make yachting easy and enjoyable. Right? Right way it should be, right? And they said, well, answer that, we're going to do fixed price quotes. What? Why don't we go over that song? Yep. And I just couldn't say no to the guy. Right? And he brought some people together. He brought Eric Augustoni, who was a guy who worked with him at Crown, who had retired. And I had brought him out of retirement to help. And he's just that guy. He's the real deal. He's really hard to say no to. And Michael is German and loves this business and loves yachting. And it's really exciting to be able to work with a group like that. So he got me to come back out at least a few days. So I can't. I don't think it was quite different. And it's hard, but I never stopped working in this industry. I mean, I love it. I love the people. I couldn't imagine afterwards, like not being with the team. Yeah. And that was really hard. Like I missed the team. I love being at home with my family instead of being over here. But yeah, it keeps me going. It keeps me busy. And it's been incredible to work with him. I can just continue to learn all the time. So I learn a lot from him and the team, and we're doing some really cool things. I think after the acquisition of Rossioli, that's been a huge thing. We just recently took over the management of Sunrise Harbor Marina, which is another. So now we can exit, handle boats up to 200 feet right there. And we should see what else comes down the pike. But, the focus is, take care of the employees are taking care of the customers take care of the stockholders, right? Take care of Gallagher, right? It's really exciting to look at the opportunity. It never happens fast enough, right? There's a lot of CapEx to do. There's a lot of work. They reinvest every single penny back into the company, but it's really into the industry, what the market needs. So, I've been blessed.
No, I tell you what, you and I have been in this game a long time. I tell this story to everybody to listen that, we've seen what's happened to our U.S. industry over the last several decades. To have gone from 40 plus shipyards building cruise service yachts to less than 5 or 6 in North America is just, remarkable in all the wrong reasons, all the wrong ways. And so when you have a high net worth individual that's a yacht guy that decides he's going to come in and invest in this industry, That's a win. That's beyond a win. That's spectacular. Because that version never happens. I mean, most of the time these guys have these bad experiences and they're like, out, just, there's so many other things I could do with the wealth or the other ways I can spend my time and money.
I think it's something we all have to focus on, is keeping these guys in. I mean, there's not a lot of people. 7,000 boats over 24 years that are in the fleet, and there's less than that hard. Yeah, and down. And it's not a lot. As an industry, I think for so many years, we always talked about how can we get, a higher percentage of ultra high net worth individuals selling boats. We failed miserably until COVID came around. Right?
Yeah.
We were into a pandemic.
Yeah. With this, exactly.
And I remember talking to Jeff Cashman at one point, and I think he said, and I can't remember exactly what it was, so quote me, but it was like 70% of the new clients that they had never been in their database before. They were blind.
That's amazing.
It was this incredible number of people that were coming into this industry. It's really our obligation to keep them.
That's right.
Right. And how do we do that? And it's not the sales guys, right? Because the sales guys, that's the easy stuff. It's on the service side, and that's the hard stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that we've got to change to make yachting easy and enjoyable. Right?
Well, it's no secret to you that this is the carbon knife. Sure, is exactly based on that premise.
Yeah.
Is to have an easy button for the owner to create a yachting experience that amps it up, that gives them a concierge level of, yachting experience that makes that individual or individuals want to stay in the game because the one they got. And we can't afford, as an industry, to lose, our biggest asset, which is our...
Yeah, I think one of the best things, is that we've got so many more people now. And it's yachting's unbelievable. Right. And if you want your kids to come back, you want your grandkids to come back. And I talked to so many owners. I've been so lucky over the years to meet so many owners, and to have them say, this is the greatest thing I ever did, right? Because my kids, they always want to come back. I got my grandkids with me all the time, doing family things out of the boat. It's a nice, safe place to be. It's, what could be better?
Right.
And we need those guys to have a good experience so that they're saying that, they're telling their business partner, telling their brother-in-law, whoever it is, this is the best experience I ever had. This is what you should do. And I know, there have been plenty of times where I met with people and they said, I was at an event, a Wharton event, and one of the guys was saying, none of you should ever buy a boat. Just charter. You don't want to buy a boat. But I think this industry or market is just the coolest place in the world. Right?
It is.
We're so lucky to be able to be in it.
It is, absolutely. And, I think about my career. I have listened to you this evening talk about your career. I've got my 15-year-old son here, basically taking feedback from a couple of guys that have spent their life doing what we're doing. And I also spend time with YPY, the Young Professionals in Yachting. I've mentored some individuals in that organization.
It's a great group.
It is. And you do realize that I'm working on the OPY organization that's going to counterbalance to YPY.
Tell me.
Well, old professionals in yachting, at 40, you're out of YPY. Well, by the time you get to 50, you age into OPY. And then that's the opportunity to be in just the next coolest organization.
Is that what
That's exactly what it is.
All right, let me know how that goes when I get to 50.
Yeah. I'm not paying attention.
But again, there's a great group of kids over there.
They are.
Sarah Hearn worked with us at LMC. She's at Lake Paul. Chris Coleman. It's just so many.
Oh, yeah. They are amazing people, and they've got ambition. They got vision. They're the next generation. They're the future of our industry. And we've got one opportunity to help mold their vision, not to our vision, but to help them understand, in the infamous words of Don Henry, you could check out any time you like that you can only leave, why this industry is such a wonderful space to spend your life in, because you are building relationships. You and I are a perfect example of that. You're creating friendships that endure. You're building experiences and seeing the world. I still think about my father who, he got to see Korea the bad way. Mm-hmm. He didn't really get to see the world. He watched my career. He was just gobsmacked by, where are you going now?
Yeah.
And he vicariously lived through my exploits in the wonderful world of yachting. And so I think about the fact that my generation is probably one of the first generations that really had the ability to get on an airplane business at work, and not making, a 6-month ordeal out of the trip to wherever you happen to be going to. You can hit South Africa or New Zealand and be back in a week.
So, imagine the number of times that I went to New Zealand for 2 or 3 days and flown to Nandi, Fiji, right? I think I was there for a 20-hour trip.
That's insane.
I managed to get it around the Gulf, get the job done, and we've watched I got to the Fiji All Blacks game to watch it down around. Yeah, so we had a full day. But yeah, it's amazing what you can do with that.
Yeah.
It's just this industry is that I've got friends for 40 years plus that I've worked with, and colleagues, friends from all over the world, and like you said, been all over, I've been traveling everywhere. Right?
So if I can feel any level of success, it might be that within the next decade or so that I've got left in this industry, that's how I kind of look at my career. I can be wrong, maybe got more than that. But to be able to hand off to the people that are YPY and people that become need to YPY, an industry where we are back to building more boats here in North America, to where we have a more vibrant industry that is not just inclusive and not the way of being inclusive, but inclusive in bringing in people from other sectors of the maritime industry into our industry to build up something bigger and better than what we have. And I think it's shipyards like Bradford's and others that are investing, and people like you and I have invested our entire life into this industry to be able to mentor and help these next generations come up and do a better job than we did, perhaps.
I know they're gonna. I knew they're gonna. I think every generation that comes up, they're smarter and they've got the technology and they're gonna be the next best. And I say that, and with my son, we were talking about World War II the other day, and it's still the last great generation, But these kids are all going to be the best. And I remember over the years of trying to make this industry better and put it in new rules or new technology or whatever, and it's really about the next generation of kids, and it's unloading that experience, I guess, that we have, and sharing that, and then giving them the freedom to go take it and go way beyond it.
Right.
And they certainly will. Me too. I've got a group of guys that I work with, guys and girls that I work with now that are all somewhere in their 30s, and it's amazing where they're going to take this. They're going to take it to far places. So, and that's really what I'm excited about. I'm excited about seeing it. You look at the changes in the industry today. You look at the consolidation. You look at the safe harbors, and you look at the Sun Texas. You look at the Marine Maxes and the Whitewaters, and all these companies going public out there. And there's so much money coming into the industry today, right? It's from what was mom and pop for so many years, and now it's going corporate, right? So people see it, people see the attraction of it, and there's loads and loads of money that's coming into it. And it's a really interesting time.
It is. And I'll tell you, I've asked the question of Bert Files, I've asked the question to Kate Clinton, IGY, Intrepid, are those both Marine Max businesses. What do you see as far as the consolidation? Is it it's a good thing to see all these roll-ups. The way Safe Harbor, for instance, has basically created a monolithic real estate business shipyards down the East Coast of the United States and other places. And I think the jury's still out. Ken was really clear. He thought Marine Max's involvement in his business was a net positive thing. They invested in Intrepid. They capitalized him so he could open up the Swansboro factory and start building the bigger boats up there. And for him, it was good. You and I both saw the open letter to the shareholders that came out yesterday regarding IGY. So there is some dissent maybe in that whole, whether it's good or not. And so I'm not asking the question tonight here in this venue between you and how we have our opinions and different experiences, but it is a question I want to keep out in front. We'll be asking again and again in some future conversations about, when you move away from the mom and pop piece of it and you go into the corporate piece of it, that's a two-edged sword. And there's a certain nostalgia that comes with the mom and pop piece of it, the personal touch and all of that. the corporate side of it, and then you look at the ISM and all of the rules, regulations, and flag and class, and the things that, create a professionally operated and run yacht are important. And so it's not a crystal and clear conversations. I think there's somewhere in there a happy middle ground. But, we'll see what happens in the months and years to come with the roll up of the safe harbors and the consolidation of the Remaxes and Whitewaters and all of that. It'll be an interesting time in this business.
It is. There's no doubt about it. And I think it's it's a very interesting time. And like anything, there's pros and cons. So there's a lot of things that had to happen. Some of the ISM, some of the regulations, and I'm a small government kind of guy.
Yeah,
but some of that we needed for the cruise, right? We need cruise to be safe, and we need to take care of things that we needed boats to be safe. So that makes sense coming in. And I think some of the other things were really positive that when this money comes in and some of the corporate stuff where they can add process and procedure, be repeatable and scalable and provide what the market needs. But I think it's the market who's going to tell us.
That's true,
right? It's the market who's going to let us know what they want and what they don't want. And I know for me, I think I'm really lucky that I can be in a business that's been a privately held company for, I think it's 60 years. And it's privately held, family owned. And but with the knowledge of scale, of how to scale and how to do things professionally. So I really think it's the best of the both worlds. And I love I'm one of the old guys now. So I love the moment.
Well, I say you're 60 now.
I continue to celebrate my 50th anniversary over and over again for years. But no, really, I think it's an interesting subject, and time's got to tell. And again, it's the market that's going to tell us. Yeah, I mean, the customer should tell us really what they want, and we're hearing it loud and clear right now. So.
Yeah, I bet. So, Colin, I have to thank you again for joining me here. This is our 30th episode. I've been, I think, honored to have some really amazing people sit with me and have these conversations. You were certainly one of those. Look forward to circling back around in the future and following onto this conversation to see, where these predictions are going, and, if we're looking at things differently 6 months, a year from now. I know my world will be different 6 months to a year from now, and I'm sure yours will as well, and as will Tristan's and everybody else's. So let's put on the seatbelt, sit back, and get ready for what should be a really interesting ride here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with what's coming up. I look forward to it. I've seen some of the people that you've had on, and I put myself in that group.
But you are.
But very happy to be here. Appreciate it.
No,
it's been great to see you.
Yeah, it's been great. So again, this has been Rick Thomas, host of Yachting International Radio's Yachting USA. I, again, thank Colin Kiley for spending his evening with us and sharing some remarkable insights and life stories. And hopefully you all have enjoyed the conversation as much as I had in making this happen. Colin, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Be well.